We're in for a wild night.
Welcome everybody to episode 100 of Born to be Wild, a wild exclusive Hearthstone podcast where we have fun hanging out with friends, talking about the wild format of Hearthstone and spotlighting members of the wild community. I am your host, as always, Nate Wolf, joining you from a beautiful spring evening here in Portland, Oregon. Very excited to be here tonight, and really excited for this milestone. Episode 100 is super awesome for us, and I think it's just we've come a long way, and just wow, really wow. Anyways, I'm joined tonight by two of my favorite people. Hydralisk, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I'm coming at y'all from the greater Vancouver area. It's also a beautiful spring evening. The rains are finally beginning to stop and that sun is coming out. You can finally see those mountains through the clouds. So it's awesome. And what's even better is, you said it, Nate, we're at 100. So we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the show tonight. And
hooray!
That is just... I'm so excited. It's going to be a great night. We've got lots of fun new stuff to talk about. And yeah, I'm just stoked, guys.
Absolutely. Well, and welcome back, of course, my good friend, Electric Sheep City. How are you tonight?
Meowdy friends, doing fantastic. So Meowdy, of course, from recently tornado-infested Southeast Texas. That was kind of scary, but no one here was hurt, so we're good. Even better. Not even better, but also excited to celebrate episode 100 and celebrate a new expansion coming up. What?
Right.
And do it all with two of the greatest guys of this side of the internet.
Aww. Well,
or that side of the internet. You're not on this side.
Can I ask? I mean, I don't want to divert too much, but like tornadoes, that's super scary. Like on the left coast over here, like we just don't get those. And I'm seeing you like tweet tornadoes in my area. I'm hunkered down in the basement. Tornadoes passing my house. Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you made it out, but like, my goodness.
So it's happened here fairly often the past few years. So like, I mean, you know, it's always scary, but this past time was like multiple tornadoes, multiple different like areas. So it was like even more intense than usual. So that one was a kind of a spooky time, but thankfully, like I said, you know, we all escaped unscathed. So,
well, good.
You remember that movie Twister? And there's there's like one scene of a cow that flies by and goes like, "Mrr." I just pictured Electric Sheep City, but like as a sheep, going across the screen.
I'm going to revise how I actually like got my name, you know, the origin story to that. That's now how it happened. So.
I could just see like you going around in the tornado and going like
as you speed up.
The recorded Nate cackling in the background is totally the best part of that clip.
It goes on for like 2 minutes. They're asking me downstairs, "Are you okay?" Anyways, let's get started. We have a great show tonight.
Yeah, so as always, for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. I'll briefly explain how the show works. So we record the podcast live every Friday evening at twitch.tv/borntobewildhs. And the video version of the podcast is then posted to YouTube shortly thereafter. Audio versions, of course, are also distributed to all the podcast apps. So however you're watching or listening or absorbing via osmosis this podcast today, thank you. Yes, you.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you so much to the people who are joining us live tonight as well. Before we get started with the show proper, I want to say a quick but very important thank you to Shokunin, who is the executive producer of our show, and also to all of our friends and supporters, patrons of our show. Your support means the world to us, so thank you so much. If you do enjoy this content, please like, comment, subscribe to our stuff on YouTube. It helps people to find us. Another simple way that you can support the show for free is to leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, or whatever your podcast platform of choice is. I didn't realize it until I believe it was Goliath brought it up in Discord that we weren't on Amazon, and boom, now we're on Amazon. So that's great as well. If you are someone who's watching live on Twitch, we do have some really cool emotes that you can unlock by subscribing if you're into that. We actually have a few more on the way. So I'm really excited. I don't know when or how it happened, but we've got 4 more emote slots. And so here they're in the works right now. And I imagine we'll have them over the next couple of weeks or so, but they're so super cute and really excited to be able to start using these. So anyways, finally, last little thing, if you're interested in supporting the show financially, we do have a Patreon. The link is on our website that you can donate to for as little as $1 a month if that's something that you want to do. Links to all of that stuff can be found on our website, which is borntobewildhs.com. Finally, one last thing I did want to share. If you're interested in interacting with any of us, we do have a Discord. It's super fun. We've made friends all across the entire world. Enjoy having a good time. It's good, clean fun, drama free, and we share laughs and stories and memes and wild Hearthstone decks. This is a wild show after all, and we'd love to have you join us there. All right. But that's it. That's the shameless plug, and it's out of the way now. So let's talk about why we are all here tonight. So number one, again, this is episode 100. It's the culmination of so many things, I think, so much time, but we've got some just incredible news. And for those of you who interact with us on Twitter or the Discord, you probably already know. For those of you listening or watching this for the first time, something that we get to share with you all here is that, holy freaking cow, we were invited to participate in the first ever Wild Theorycraft event for a Hearthstone expansion. So we were invited to participate in Voyage to the Sunken City Theorycraft, get to play with all the new cards a week before they come out, which is just like what?
It's amazing.
I am so just floored by this. I'm still kind of in shock and I don't know. I don't have enough good things to say about the Hearthstone community managers. Alkali Lake in particular, but Fabio and Nick, and it's just incredible, and we really appreciate being included. Like, holy moly. It's like, I don't know. It feels like, we made it, right? So, I don't know, like all the feels. I get an email, hey, we need headshots. Like, what? Was still kind of in shock, and I don't know, just like let it sink in for a minute. Everything's been so busy and crazy, right? But just how fun, right? I don't know so I found out, and I couldn't help but share it with you guys right away. Let me just ask Hydra first. When you saw that, what did you think?
When I saw that, I almost wanted to think that you were joking, but that would be a very cruel joke to play. But it was so funny because my wife she was watching. I was on vacation, I believe, when you told me, and she was watching this intense TV show, and I got up from the computer and I started pacing around my house. I'm like, oh my god, 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 and I'm waiting for a commercial.
You were like,
so because I want to tell her so bad, right? And she's watching this show, and then she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you'll never guess what. And it was just I remember when I first saw some of the other people get to do things, other people in the community, like Ridiculous Hat, where he has got to be on a featured stream, going on the launcher, doing stuff like that. And I remember being so stoked for him, for people like Cora, when they've moved up and they've done these things. And when I saw that we were invited to actually by Blizzard, that means somebody's listening, right? And that's just like that just made me like super happy. They know that, you know, we're passionate about this wild format, and that they're out there, they're looking, they're noticing, they're listening to podcasts, they're looking at the Twitterverse and everything, and it felt good, right? Like, we do this for fun, but it felt really cool to be recognized for doing this. And yeah, I was just absolutely like in this moment of bliss, and I still am. Like, I was sitting today at work and I started doing like my happy dance at my desk.
Yeah, it hasn't sunk in yet, and so that's why I wanted to you know, get your reaction. Like, I wanted to capture it while it's still fresh. Like, and it's been, you know, a few days yet, and it still hasn't kind of sunken in. Anyways, I was still kind of floating over here. I see. Do you hear me? I said sunken. I said floating. I will try to. I've spent too much time with Ridiculous Hat. I will try to cool it on the dad jokes tonight. No promises, but I will try. Sheep. What did you think when you you know, heard the news?
Yeah, so whenever you sent us the message, like, I was just about to get into the car, and so like, drive for like a couple hours. So you know, I saw that, was like, holy moly, like, yeah, like, let's do it. I'll clear my work stuff whenever I get stationary, but like, oh my gosh. So stopped to fill my car up before, you know, we actively drove, and like, we continued like messaging. Then I got in the car. I was the one driving, you know, with my wife, and every time I'd be like telling her about stuff, you know, and then, you know, the conversation would kind of drift. We'd talk about some other stuff, and then I just like start talking about it again.
Right.
Just like you said, that positive, like, buzzing almost. Just,
Did your
yeah.
speedometer go up a little every time you talked about Hearthstone, and then it went back down when it was like, you know, talking about whatever, then back up?
Almost like a, you know, your chair scooting along like race car style across the.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, hearing the message, getting the message, just like talking it over with her, you know, like, kind of been on cloud nine ever since. And then whenever we got to actually announce it, like, that was obviously like so rewarding too. And like, seeing all the other people in the community that we get to like have this experience with too, being the first ever wild theory crafting event, was just like kind of surreal, truthfully, like, and
Right.
obviously the best possible way.
It's so crazy. And actually, this is a perfect segue, because there was something that, you know, I've thought about this in the past, but then I saw our buddy Andy, he goes by the name of Delusion, posted a video over the past week on Twitter talking about the core of the message was, you know, don't be jealous, like, celebrate your friend's success. And it really hit home with me. And I think that, you know, sometimes it's hard to get in that mindset, you know, when you see, oh, these people got to do a card reveal, and these people got to give away some codes, and it's like, hey, you know what, be happy, you know, when your friends like succeed. And I love that concept, number one. And number two, I think one of the main kind of tenets of our show is to spotlight members of the wild community. This is about community in general. Like, we're not here to talk about us. I mean, we do that sometimes, but like, being able to spread the love, I think, is super important to us. And so, not only are we going to be streaming this wild Theorycraft on April 7th, there's going to be a bunch of our buddies joining us, and these are the ones that I know about, and there may be more. I've got a list here, and I'm going to share them on the screen here. I'll put them in the show notes if anyone wants them later. But I just want to spotlight other wild content creators here. A lot of them are good friends of ours, and so big shout out to Clark Hellscream. Long time coming. Clark has been a guest on the show before. Clark is an absolute mastermind in terms of like, what do you even call him? Like, meme lord, combo king. Like, when he was on the show here, we covered like a Mogu cultist mage OTK deck, and like, Clark is incredible. And so like, seeing Clark make it, amazing, right? we have here Wild Man of the Year, right? Corbett, who again is a good friend of ours. He's been on the show. He's an incredibly talented player, and part of also an amazing podcast. And really excited to see him here as well. This next one scarred my eyes a little bit with the picture, but you know,
I know who it is. It's gotta be Dane, right? Dane.
Dane is incredible. Dane has been around for a long.
Look at it.
If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast later, I urge you to watch the video version or don't, or fast forward to this part so you don't have to look at this cursed image here. Dane is incredible. He's been it's just in our community for ages. My camera is flipping out real quick. Let me fix this. But
your camera didn't like seeing
your camera turned off.
It did. It didn't. I was like, oh, a cursed image. All right, we'll take that off the screen. But Dane is incredible, right? Okay, so some other folks who are going to be here as well. So we have Engine, who is also on, I believe, on the list of the Wild People Choice Awards that we covered a couple episodes ago. So super exciting to see Engine here. Of course, famous Wild streamer Get Me Out, another good friend of ours and part of the podcast with Raffle and Corb. The State of Wild and Meowth, we've known for a long, long time. It's absolutely incredible. A lot of folks here, so I'm going to try to go through them a little bit quicker. Goku, absolutely incredible. Again, we've known these people for a long time. Goku's been on the show before and is an amazing player. Really excited to see what Goku comes up with. And then someone I don't know quite as well, but Sheep you do. So the Housewife, who streams both Standard and Wild, invited, and that's super cool. Anything that you can tell us about her?
Yeah, so she likes to play, of course, meta stuff, but also off meta stuff, and streams pretty much every single day, be it Standard, Wild, or Battlegrounds. And she's a close friend too, so really excited to see her get a moment to shine there, playing both Standard and Wild, which is awesome.
Yes, absolutely. A couple other big names, Mark McKaysey, and I always feel like I'm mispronouncing his name, so I hope I'm not. But incredible YouTube content. Really excited to see him attending as well. And then a few other really good friends of ours. One of the nicest people I've ever met in Wild Hearthstone, Martyn Boo, again, who was like all over the place on our People's Choice Awards a couple episodes back. Martyn is one of the nicest folks that I've ever met, an incredibly talented player, and
he is who I aspire to be when I play Hearthstone.
I love that. Whenever I need a deck, I will steal it from Blue Train or NHL or Martyn. Is one of my go-tos, and is an incredible innovator as well with incredible content. I'm so thrilled that Martyn is here as well. Raffle, again, the third part of the State of Wild podcast, and just an incredible player. We've known Raffle for a long, long time. Just absolutely incredible YouTube content and a great player. Excited to see Raffle here. It wouldn't be a Wild event without Raffle. And then a couple other newcomers. Slizzle, again, someone we've known for a long, long time, and it's awesome to see Slizzle make it. Slizzle, I think, is one of the hardest working YouTube content creators that I have seen. Sure. It's like day in, day out content, and even when there's a slump, Slizzle is putting stuff out. We just saw a video come out earlier today with wild decks to climb with, and a whole compilation of lists. And I think Slizzle does for Wild what Blister Guy does for Standard in terms of compiling lists and stuff. And excited to see Slizzle here. Another team. Team Wildside will be here, represented by, again, some of the best players in Wild Hearthstone. Lasagna, Hijo, Yurna, and Cubby, which is amazing. And so just to see the different brains at work here coming up with stuff. And then last but not least is Zeddy, and it's awesome to see here. I know that there has kind of been some rocky history between Zeddy and Hearthstone, and to see them kind of pass the olive branch here This was pretty cool. And so gigantic shout out primarily to Alkali, who has really, I think, kind of revolutionized this event. And I know a lot of times these Theorycraft streams, I think there's like mixed feelings because it's like, oh, is the meta going to be solved before we even get to play the cards? Or the idea that like, oh, it's like you guys get to, open your Christmas presents early, but we just have to watch. But like, I think we can make it about the community, and just seeing the Wild community invited to participate in general just blew my mind. It's just the concept of it more so even than participating in it. I don't know. My mind still hasn't like it. It's just crazy. This whole thing has been nutty, and I'm super excited, and I'm just blown away that we're able to participate. And I feel like we're kind of walking amongst greatness, and it feels a little bit awkward. I'm having some little, what do you call it, imposter syndrome or identity crisis over here. And so, I mean, we've been at it for a long time, but like, this is just super cool. So anyways, these are all incredible content creators. I do think that, and these are only the ones that I know about. I spent a lot of time on Twitter. These are a bunch of screenshots that I took, and there may be more that I just don't know about. I know that Hearthstone has done an incredible job. Again, big shout out to the community team there, because they've done especially good job, not only with branching out, because historically this was standard only, but they've branched out to non-English speaking countries, right? So this is not just here in the US, but it's all across the world. And also more inclusivity. I think that this year we're seeing our first ever blind Hearthstone streamer, which is absolutely incredible. And I'm just excited that I think the whole thing is just going to be incredible. And again, I'm going around in circles, but thank you big time to Alkali and the Hearthstone community managers. Just absolutely incredible what you're doing for the game right now. So anyways, we're going to talk about some theory crafting tonight. I think before we do that, we want to talk about some giveaways. So I know that that's why a lot of you are probably here, and I don't blame you. And one of the things that we were chatting a little bit and seeing some posts from the Hearthstone community managers, and they were encouraging us to give back to our communities more so than, a lot of times when folks get these giveaways, they turn into grabs for followers, and I'm not trying to fault anyone for doing that, but a lot of times it's sort of hollow in that, like, it's like, okay, like and follow and retweet and sub to be entered into a drawing for this stuff, and then we pick a winner, and then all the people who did those things then just go, well, unfollow, unsub, whatever it is. And so it's not really a way to engage. And
we've done it ourselves, right? So like, we're looking for a better way to, like, going forward to get the whole community engaged and reward the people that are really involved.
Well, and I love the idea of what I will say that kind of feels bad is that if the goal is to support the community or our community, right? And then the person who wins is someone that we've never met before, and that we don't, it's like it almost feels bad because it's like we kind of burn our own people, which is not the intent. But so the goal really here is to interact with our community and engage with our community, and to be able to give back to our community. And so we've got two bundles here. Two standard bundles for Sunken City, who were given to us by Hearthstone. Again, it's actually absolutely incredible that we will be giving out. And then we've got one mega bundle that we'll be giving out, who was donated very graciously by Shokunin, who is the executive producer of our show, reached out and said, hey, I'd like to donate a mega bundle as well. Give it away how you see fit. And so we're going to be doing that. But we wanted to do this, again, in a way that is engaging with our Wild community here. And so each one is going to be given out a different way. we are giving out one away tonight just by watching. Everyone that's here right now, you'll be entered, and we'll do it momentarily. And so standard bundle number 1, all you got to do is just be here. We'll pull up a list of who's in chat right now, dump it into the wheel to side, click the button and spin it. Do it right here on the show. But we've got 2 more bundles to give away, and folks can be entered for these as well. And so I've been talking a lot. Maybe I can pass it over to Sheep to explain how the other 2 work.
For sure. So the second opportunity to win one of the standard bundles, again, these are the ones given to us by Blizzard, is to help us Theorycraft. So like we were mentioning earlier, we were invited to the first ever Wild Theorycrafting event on April 7th. So if you submit theory crafting ideas into our Discord and Theorycraft channel, then we will play them on the actual day. And whenever we play those, that one, the one that we like the most is the one that we will end up picking for that one. And we will announce that one on April 8th. So for that in particular, for the Theorycraft one, we want to see 1 legendary from the new set, and then 4 other cards. They can all 4 be legendary, or all 5 total new cards be legendary. You can have more than that, you can have less than that, but we want to see at least 5 new cards and 1 of those legendary in that, because we want to play with the new cards, right? Like we're playing Wild, so we don't want it to be like a super high bar. But 5 seems appropriate, and like one of the legendaries to like make it kind of really pack that punch. So submitting something into the Discord for our theory crafting stream. And finally, also in Discord, share your stories with us. We want to know a positive story about Hearthstone, whether it's a great game, a friend you made, a great experience at an event, or anything else. So this third one, this one was provided by Shokunin, resident patron saint of Wild, and a fantastic supporter of our show here. So this one was not given to us by Blizzard, but it is given to us by Shokunin, and this one is a mega bundle. So if you share your any positive stories in the positive experiences channel, any and all positive experiences go towards that, and then we will spin the wheel on that one. So RNG will decide there as well.
Yeah.
So those are the other 2 ways you can be entered to win the giveaways.
Yes. And just 2 real quick notes. Y'all can submit, multiple ideas if you want to. That's fine. The idea is to engage and have, discussions and conversation. I see some questions here in chat, and a lot of times we don't interact a lot while we're recording the podcast, but I anticipate some questions coming up. And so I will say, we're going to pick the one that we like the most in terms of theory crafting. And, does it have to be the most competitive? No. We just have to like it. And so it could be competitive. It could be flashy combo. It could be a meme. It could be whatever it is. We're going to be streaming from 9 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. We've got plenty of time to kill. And it's going to be on a special server with other folks that are participating in this event. And so we're going to be playing a lot of random stuff. Doesn't have to
necessarily win. Maybe it's the thing we found the most fun. The thing that, like, say we only won 1 in 10 games, but that was the best game that we won. Maybe that'll be the one, right?
Whatever. We want to interact and we want to get ideas. That being said, we're recording this. Today is March the 25th. The stream event is in about 2 weeks on April 7. And so we need ideas by then. That being said, we've only seen a handful of the cards come out. And so we've heard some feedback like, well, we're having a difficult time theory crafting because we haven't seen all the cards yet. Like, you've got until basically the 6th or the 7th to get us these ideas. So there's not a huge rush, but we wanted to throw it out here in advance. We've got a Google Doc kind of going with our ideas that we've been adding to as we see cards revealed. And so, it doesn't mean you have to rush out and go do this like right now, because we're going to pick the winner 2 weeks from today on the 8th. So it'll be episode 102 of Born to be Wild. We'll choose the winner. And same thing with the stories. The other note that I wanted to say quickly, the reason that we brought back the giveaway for the sharing positive stories, again, kind of just one of the tenets of our show here is about community interaction and positivity. And the last time we did this for a giveaway, it was just such a overwhelmingly positive experience, like hearing the different stories that people had. The one that I will never forget, just to share with you, because it was like, what is the saying? Like stranger than fiction, right? Was that it was somebody playing Hearthstone while they were going to college, living in the dorm, had a really, crazy game, whatever it was, sent a friend request to the person after the game. They ended up being friends. They ended up chatting in game for I don't know, a couple of years or whatever. And then the person didn't find out until I think it was 2, maybe 3 years later, right? As they continued talking through the game, that it was their dorm roommate and that they never knew. It was what? It was just the craziest, it was so funny. And just, it was such a small world and just such a crazy story. And it was wait a minute, this person that you became great friends with through the game, it turns out was the person that you were living with and you had no idea until years later. What even, it was crazy. Anyways, it was great. And, you're having a bad day, sometimes a little positivity helps. So those are the ways. If you've got any questions, the easiest way to reach out to us is via Discord. And, we'll be happy to answer any questions. So we're going to give away one right now. We'll give away the other 2 in 2 weeks. Anyways, I'm going to just timestamp this because I'm going to have to set up the giveaway real quick. And so let me look at the names real quick who are in chat, and we'll get this thing set up. So what are we at? 32 minutes. I'm going to pull this up on the screen real quick. All right, we do this live so that we don't get accused of giving it away to our friends. So
No shenanigans.
No.
We can't do that.
All right. Here is the wheel. All right, friends, here it goes. So I'm going to click the button. We'll see who it picks. And we will reach out to you, right? So whoever wins, we will reach out to you. And we will get you the code that way. Sorry, you can't reach out to us. That's how scams happen. Apologies. But anyways, ready?
Time's up. Let's do this.
Ayo, Kappa face, spelled funky, but Kappa face. Hey,
Kappa
what's
face.
up? Hey, congrats, Kappa face. So you are getting a standard bundle on us, and we will ping you and get you the codes. Yeah. Hey, thanks for being here. Anyways, yeah, super congrats. So we do have 2 more to give away. We're not doing it tonight, but yeah, thanks everyone for being here. We still got lots to talk about, so we'd love it if you stayed. But if you're just here for the giveaway, we totally understand. Anyways, Kappa Face, chat with you soon, and we'll get you those codes. Alrighty. So, wanting to talk tonight a little bit about Theorycraft Discussion.
Yeah.
And this is where I wanted to, here's some, some meat of this conversation. And I know that there's not a lot of cards released yet, and so that makes this a little bit more difficult. But we've kind of been watching, as new stuff gets released to see what could be viable. And I guess my question is, have either of you seen anything so far that, looks good to you or that you're looking forward to? And again, this is a wild show for those of you joining us for the first time. And so we're specifically looking for wild perspective, like new archetype or something to revive an old archetype or update an existing deck.
I mean, we got that. You guys saw that new Hunter Legendary, right?
Yes. First off,
The one-
yes. Let me just pull up I'm going to pull up I've got the card site pulled up real quick, and let me just do that while we chat about it. All right, here we go. So it's here. All right, you're talking about the Hunter Legendary here. For those of you listening to the audio, I've got the Play Hearthstone website pulled up, and we're looking at the card library here for Sunken City. So you're talking about Raj Nazjan. It's a 2-mana 2/3 Naga. After you cast a spell, deal damage equal to its cost to the enemy hero.
Yeah. So what does Quest Hunter already do?
Play a lot of spells.
Yeah, so I mean that's the first thing that I thought of, and I mean it's not odd, but guess what? We don't play odd Quest Hunter anymore. Questline Hunter has strayed away from being odd, and due to the nerf that we've seen recently, this could slot right in there. I mean, every time you cast a spell, deal equal damage to its cost to the enemy hero. This doesn't say equal cost deal to a random minion. This directly says
goes
the
face
enemy hero. Like this goes face every time, no matter what. This is like a flame waker that's gonna hit him in the face every time.
Yeah.
So this is something. It's if it doesn't just auto go in the deck forever, we're playing it. Like we're playing it, right? And maybe one day it's not good enough, but right now it seems pretty darn good.
Yeah,
so,
you know what? I was thinking about that though, and you know how odd Questline Hunter has kind of died recently due to them nerfing the twin spell card, but this Barb Nets is a 1 mana deal 2 damage to an enemy, whether it's a minion or phase. If you're holding a Naga, you get to choose a second target. I guess it has to be different. If we're talking second target, it can't be the same. But still, like, all right, this slots right into me. And so, I mean, geez, you could play both even. I mean, or hey, look at this. If you've cast a spell while holding this, your next spell casts twice. You think that would work in Questline Hunter? Mm-hmm. So this is like, not that Hunter needed to be better, but like, well, there you go.
It is.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The Hunter stuff is interesting because it was like busted good in odd, and then when the nerf happened, it like wasn't super good anymore, and then I think it was Corb who made a version to kind of bring it back, and now it's pretty good. And I've seen a handful of people, Memnark I think, and a few others make different builds of it, and it's pretty solid with Dragon's Bane. And cards like this are just, they seem solid. I'm not quite sure how the Nagas are going to work yet, because the effects only trigger if you're casting spells whether in your hand, but like, they seem pretty good. I'm excited to play with them and see. So yeah, that's definitely on my list. I'm kind of curious to see when more cards are released, because we just don't have them all yet. Whether odd is still viable, or whether we just take the regular version, and because this 2 and 4 mana cost cards seem pretty good. So anyways, yeah. Sheep, anything? I know there's one that you've been like itching to talk about, I think.
Gosh, there are a few of them. I'm going to start with the one I'm probably most excited about. And that's a Druid card. For the uninitiated, I'm a pretty big Aggro Druid fan, and I like tinkering around with Aggro Druid in general. And there's kind of like a package that I really look forward to playing in that. The one that I'm thinking of first and foremost is Oshron Gardens. So first, the first half of it is give all minions in your hand +1/+1. Put a Sunken Gardens in the bottom of, or on the bottom of your deck, right? So, hand buff seems good in general. And then Sunken Gardens give +1/+1 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. So
That's scary.
that's like half an embiggen right there.
Right?
But it also hits the board. It also hits your hand. Like that's just like fantastic and like absurdly good. What makes it great, because that's on the bottom of your deck, but there's a kind of dredge package that we almost certainly will be running in this, right?
Yeah.
So the first one, and the one that y'all probably thought I was going to be playing, say initially, is Aquatic Form. So Aquatic Form is a 0 mana spell with dredge that says dredge. If you have the mana to play the card this turn, draw it. Okay.
Right? Like,
How much mana?
0. So yeah, what makes decks more consistent? Having fewer cards. If you play Aquatic Form, 2 of them, then all of a sudden you technically have 2 less cards. It's just perfect.
it's right. And I mean, I assume you still run Embiggen in this package, and then, dredge, and then you can draw it because it all, costs low. And then, I mean, the other card that we saw that looks like it fits right in there, right, is the new Sir Finley.
Yes, exactly. That is the kind of final thing on there which makes this perfect. So Sir Finley in particular in Aggro Druid, the Embiggen version, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever let's say it's turn 1, you've got an Embiggen in your hand. You can play Embiggen, and then you can play Sir Finley. Guess what? All of the things that you just, buffed are now going to be in your hand. And your hand, which isn't buffed up yet, is now at the bottom of your deck where you are not going to draw it unless you dredge it out. So Sir Finley just makes it even more consistent, which is awesome.
Nice. Yeah, it seems good. And I'm interested, again, we've only seen a handful of the cards so far, and not knowing what else is coming yet. Like, I mean, what have we seen? Maybe a quarter of the cards, if that. Maybe
we've seen 76.
76. So about half, a little more than half, right? 135. So we're a little over half. Okay. And I know that there's going to be, some generic pack filler cards, but like there's some stuff here. And I hate to say it, but I'm really looking forward to this like standard Demon Hunter, because these cards just look rad. And unfortunately, like the good ones are all like even cost, which aren't going to see any play in Wild. I mean, we've got some ideas, but anyways, all right, yeah, that should be fun. And I think as a Aggro Druid connoisseur, like you must just be salivating over there. Super.
I'm so excited. It's gonna be awesome.
You get to say, I was playing it before Sunken City.
The rest of y'all had to dredge this list out. I had it already on the top of my deck.
That's fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah, buddy. So what about you, Nate? What kind of is one archetype that you're really looking forward to from what we've already seen so far?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, hold on. I'm having a hard time multitasking. Let me get the let me get the code for our winner super quick.
Perfect.
I don't want to make them wait longer than they have to. Let me just press pause real quick and do that. Give me 2 seconds. Apologies.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
I
couldn't help it.
I'll never forget when I was trying to dodge your Mississippis, and I said, "Give me a Jiffy." And you're like, 1 Jiffissippi.
Oh my goodness. All right. There you go. Do you have it?
Yeah, just relayed. Perfect. Thank you, Nathaniel.
Excellent. Okay, cool. All right. So, apologies. I might edit that out. I might not. I just didn't want to put it on the screen accidentally because it was on the same monitor that the that all the cards are on. And so, anyways,
good call.
Yeah. So I've looking at these cards as they come out. There's some good ones, and I'm really excited to try some new things. I think that there's a lot of decks that I want to make that are probably going to be like meme worthy. Like they're just not going to be that good. But it looks super fun. Like I really want to try the new Hook Tusk. I really want to try, like,
Yeah.
you know, I want to try some of the new pirates, like in Odd Rogue. Are they going to be good enough? Like, maybe not.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Actually, maybe.
I mean, I mean, so I'm looking at this stuff, and I just don't know. You know, where I've seen things go sideways in the past, it's like we'll look at a card and be like, that's too slow for Wild. Like, we've said that so many times that, like, but we've also been proven wrong. And so when I see some of these, like, hey, okay, well, like, Cutlass Courier, could this be good after your hero attacks draw a pirate? Well, yeah. You know, do I want to try it in Odd Rogue? Sure. Do I want to try it in Kingsbane? Yeah. Is it going to be good? I don't know. Maybe not. Bootstrap Sunkeneer, same one. It's a pirate, but it's put an enemy minion on the bottom of your opponent's deck. So, like, if I'm playing, you know, Odd Rogue or Kingsbane and I'm trying to hit you in the face with my giant weapon, and you've got a big taunt in the way, I can just put it on the bottom. Hey, I can put 2/3/3 pirates with stealth on the board and hit you in the face for 6 next turn. Like, it's a little slow, but does it, you know, could it work? Maybe. And I know, like, I'm really trying hard to stop saying it's too slow for Wild, because that's what we always say, but then it's not, especially with all the quests. I remember what we said with the quest was, like, on turn 1, I want to be playing a minion and pulling patches and dropping a parachute brigand, you know.
Which is still what I want to do.
Yeah. but like, the quests were so good that, like, they just got played. They got played to the point where a bunch of them got nerfed, and so, you know, I'm still in the back of my mind, like, yeah, you know, the stuff is probably too slow, but I want to try it. And for heaven's sake, if we got like 8 hours to stream this stuff, like, you bet I'm gonna try it. So, and maybe it's good, and maybe it's not, but like, some pirate rogue, like, yeah, okay. The one that I think we've seen so much support for so far, honestly, is Paladin, Mech Paladin, like, crazy. And, you know, hand buff has been good. It's seen less play lately. Mech Paladin was really good for a while, and not, you know, not lately, but, like, we've got all these new mechs now, and frankly, they seem pretty good. So I really want to try this. And again, if nothing else, like, is it going to be top tier competitive? Like, I have no idea. Do I want to revive, like, an old dead archetype? Like, absolutely. Yeah. And so this, you know, Oshron Mooncatcher, the Leviathan, Radar Detector, Seafloor Savior, like, yeah, I want to try those out. Someone said that, I saw this on Twitter, it was so funny. Someone said Radar Detector is named incorrectly. It really should be Sonar Detector, because, you know,
radar can't go through
water,
like
right?
That. I think that was Memnark. Yeah,
it's so great. It's so funny. I doubt
so
that they'll
true.
change it, but it's great. It was really funny.
Well, and Radar Detector, so that's the one that scans the bottom 5 cards of your deck and draws any mechs found by doing that thing, and then shuffles the deck. I think if that was the only card that we got that supported the archetype, we'd be able to, like, make it just so much more consistent, give it so much more draw. Like, I think that would revive it into not just viability, but, like, competitibility, into being competitive, right?
Yeah.
But not only did we get Radar Detector, but, like, Seafloor Savior. Okay, like, yeah, dredge a minion, so you know what a dredge, and if it's a minion, which the vast majority of the cards you play in that deck are, then you know what you're drawing next, and you give it an extra +2/+2. Cool. Like, that's just good.
Mm-hmm.
The Ashran Mooncatcher, then, like, the 3-mana 4/2 mech with Divine Shield and Battle Cry to put the Sunken Mooncatcher on the bottom of your deck, you know, because it's sunken, which is the same thing, except it summons an extra copy of it. I mean, this is exactly what Mech Paladin wants to be doing.
Right.
Like, Mech Paladin was the first deck that I hit Legend with in Wild. I did it with a completely, like, homebrewed deck, and, like, that homebrewed deck ended up getting, like, a decent amount of traction. Which was really cool. And just seeing the different support just in those cards, without even talking about the Colossal minion, which I'm not sure if it'll make the cut at the end of the day, but I mean, we're definitely going to play it, at first because so it's a 7 mana. That's the big downside, right? But it's 2 bodies. One of them dredges, Rush Divine Shield. So it dredges after it attacks. The other one, Rush Divine Shield. After it attacks, draw a card. It's you guarantee what you're going to draw and then you draw it. And you do both of those things and you like control the board with the hits. Like, I'm not sure if that's going to end up making the cut for the long haul, but I mean, it honestly might. Even at 7 mana, that's just so much board control. It leaves behind 2 high priority targets. Like, I
Right?
feel like it really might.
And you're drawing 2 cards? I mean, assuming they have stuff on the board, right? So,
So you'd only be drawing 1 card, right? Because the first one that dredges,
I'm sorry, it's
you
dredge, yeah.
discover from the bottom of your deck.
But you get
put
to
it on the
choose.
top.
But you get to choose which one it is
You get
too.
to choose.
And so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, no, this seems. And again, like 7 is slow, but Paladin has some good control tools, and hand buff has been really good before. Combining mech with hand buff seems fun, and I'm interested. Just the whole concept of this is fun, and I'm really interested in seeing our scores when we do our full set review. Because, the last couple of expansions, we had some pretty lackluster scores. And what I'm seeing more often than not this time around is like, that looks good. That looks good. Well, that looks good. And I don't usually say that. Like, we're kind of a team of skeptics over here.
Yeah.
And so it was so funny.
There'll be like 1 or 2 things typically that we're really excited about. And the rest of it, it's like, I mean...
I
fine.
I have to share, there was something that was, so we'll talk about this later on, like post show or whatever, but we had made a bingo card, over the past weekend, for predictions for cards that would come out this set. And we were trying to push it out as quickly as possible. And so it was kind of rushed together, the ideas. But I'd reached out to on Reddit and Twitter and Facebook and a couple of places to solicit ideas, and the goal was like, hey, we need to push this out before they release any more cards, because otherwise, it's
just cheating.
It's cheating at that point, right? But one of our friends, I know someone who had they listened to our show, actually helped make a parody song a long time ago. Had this list for us, and it was so funny. Let me just pull it up here.
Oh yes,
because right. I just need to find it real quick. But it was so good that like I have to share it. I think that I'd be like remiss not to, because it wasn't what you should put on the card. It's like, well, here's what you guys always say each time. All right, it's gonna be hard to read here, but I can read it to everybody. So this is from Power. Banach. I'm going to mispronounce that. I apologize. Okay. So here's the comment though. The blow is rather a reference to what you guys would usually say in your 10-hour long reviews. Wild is so refined, doesn't have a home. The art is cute. If this was even cost, if this was odd cost, in blank class, this would be busted. It's good in arena. You're happy when you discover it. Day 1 golden craft, good in standard. I want to like the card, but Arena list might run this. The golden animation must be sick. The flavor text reads, somebody is going to break this card. This is for a Trollden video. If this had taunt, if this had rush, it's a legendary, so you can only run 1. When we talk about the art, it usually means the card sucks. It's decently statted, but it says to a minion, but if it could just go face, a reference to Freeze Shaman. 3 years from now, this might be great. And but which card would I take out?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I just listened to one of our 10-hour reviews in that Reddit comment.
Right, like that's
so funny.
That's a summarized 10-hour card review in one response there, which is so amazing. So thank you. It's just so great. So what we did last time, and I assume that we'll probably do it this time as well, is just for the sake of expediency and our own sanity, not do a 10-hour stream and do some sort of expedited card review. Maybe our top choices or something like that. Historically, we've done like all day reviews, and they take 8 to 10 hours plus, and it's just like by the end of the day, we're like, that's a card.
All day, all night. We've seen the sun come up.
Yes. The
Yes.
first one that I was on, we started at our normal time and legitimately did see the sun come up the next day.
Yeah.
It was great.
Anyways, apologies for going off the deep end real quick. If we're talking about, God, I keep doing it. I'm sorry.
Deep it.
If we talk about other classes for some theory crafting, so here's one that I thought about. Right, is Pirate Warrior getting any better? Like, arguably, excuse me. Where like there's some cards I'm not really looking forward to playing it because it's kind of boring. Like we hit Legend with it a few times and like it was cute at first, but like, okay, there's a couple new pirates. This Amalgam of the Deep seems pretty good. It's a 2-mana 2/3. You can discover a minion. It's just better than the 2-mana 2/2, I think. The other one, Tuskar Trawler, 2-mana 2/3 Dredge, seems pretty good. But I don't really want to talk about Pirate Warrior so much. I mean, it'll probably be okay. What I think would be interesting potentially, I started looking at these warrior cards, and they seem okay so far. And okay, the Fires of Zin Ashari, replace your deck with minions that cost 5 or more. They cost 5. Like, this is a duels card, which is just crazy. This may be for a Dead Man's Hand deck. I don't know. Not my thing. Unfortunately, I think it's probably more of a meme, but it could be interesting. What I started looking at these other ones though and thinking, it might be good. It's straight fire. That's pretty funny. More puns over here. I like that. This will be interesting. There's there's some pros and cons. I started looking at the other ones though, and where we got, I think where we started going off last week's conversation, looking at, we were like mid-show when they released Nelly, the Great Thresher, which is the Colossal for Warrior, 7-mana 5/5 Colossal +1, discover 3 pirates to crew Nelly's ship. We found out later that they have to be 3 different pirates. They cannot be the same, so you can't discover 3 separate Mr. Smites. And so the question was, hey, can this go in Pirate Warrior? And we're like, it's probably just not needed. We're looking for low-cost minions, and this is, overboard. But then we saw, hey, you know what? This costs 7. Like, you could stick this in an Odd Warrior or some kind of control build. Like, it's just value. And then I started looking at it as they released more cards across the week and saw that, like, oh, yeah, hey, it's a beast. And then watched them release other stuff. This Black Scale Brute, 7-mana 5/6 Naga taunt Battlecry. If you have a weapon equipped, summon a 5/6 Naga with Rush. Like, okay, well, it's also odd cost, and it's a Naga. This Trench Stalker here, and again, this is expensive, 9-mana Battlecry, attack 3 different random enemies, could go face. It's a beast. I'm like, you know what? It'd be kind of fun to see some like menagerie support with, and because Naga, right? Zoth? Well, yes.
Not gonna lie, that's pretty exciting.
Well, right. So New Zoth is 9, right? We'll pull your menagerie type cards, 1 of each, but also just the idea of menagerie support in general. But with this expansion, Naga is a brand new tribe, and so stuff that was like 1 of each will now pull a Naga as well. So there's potential there, and again, we've seen 6 cards for Warrior so far, and so I'm not going deep dive on Theorycraft yet, but like, could there be like a fun Odd Warrior build? Could there be some kind of menagerie build? Like, maybe. Is it probably too slow? Yeah, probably, whatever. But like, I want to try it for sure.
Odd Warrior is always slow.
Hey, that's
the point.
It is actually. It is actually. So that's kind of what I'm watching. It's like, hey, okay, what you have to do really is like survive the early game, and if you can do that, then it's like you just dumping these giant threats every turn. I don't know. And then they start then they start printing all these Murlocs for Warlock. I'm like, what is happening right now?
It's Murloc.
Right? I don't even know. I don't think it's gonna be good in Wild, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, right? I don't know. Shaman looks interesting to me, and something that I did want to talk about tonight. There was just an update that we got from one of the Hearthstone devs. I think it was Gallon, although I could be wrong. So somebody posted an idea earlier this week about one of these cards and like an infinite, some kind of like OTK thing here. It is
so Radiance of Azura is a 3-mana 3/4 elemental with fire spell damage +2. Here's the big one. Your nature spells cost 1 less, and then after you cast a frost spell, gain 3 armor. So one of the spells that is a nature spell, so it'll cost 1 less,
Oh, yes.
is Unstable Evolution. So, with Snip Snap Warlock, they nerfed the echo mechanic so that echoed cards can not be reduced below 1 mana. But Unstable Evolution was not technically an echo card. It had
Even though it does, it just doesn't have the tag, right?
Exactly. So that you could high roll already if you evolve a 1 mana card into Radiant Elemental already. So you could already use this mechanic, but there wasn't anything that you could straight up run in Shaman that would give this sort of interaction until the most recently the minion we were just talking about. So I don't know how viable some sort of a wacky unstable evolution evolved shaman would really be, but the fact that seems like they tested it and it would have been a little busted because
it could go infinite, right? Because this would just cost 0. It would just be 0, and you could just use it over and over and over until you get what you want. So, and again, for those of you listening to the audio version of this podcast, I'd recommend watching the video version because you'll see this stuff. But Gallon, who is one of the Hearthstone devs, tweeted, here's a 2-part tweet from earlier today. It says, when Voyage of Sunken City goes live, Unstable Evolution will have its functionality changed from a repeatable this turn card to an echo card. The wording will update in a follow-up patch. While they function mostly the same, we apologize for it being unclearly worded for a short period of time. We also understand that the fun part of this card is to randomly generate a Radiant Elemental and have a crazy turn. So even though this now will work with Mistwraith, it's still effectively a nerf to the fun, so there will be full refunds on Unstable. Yeah. Anyways, no, I mean, it makes sense, right? So what does Echo mean? That does that just mean you can play it as many times as you have mana? Or does that mean you can only play it one more time?
So the way that it was kind of interacting before with Snip Snap Warlock, originally it was busted because if you had enough things on board to completely go essentially do the same thing with Snip Snap, all you had to do was have like a mech warper or 2, or it's been so long I can't remember the exact kind of setup.
It made your Snip Snap 0 cost
0. Yeah. So the way that they adjusted the echo mechanic, the first one could be 0, but subsequent couldn't be, reduced below 1. So you were capped out at a certain amount, and Snip Snap only having 2 attack kept you from getting like some wacky OTK super duper quick.
So does this matter then? Like if it says echo, it's going to cost 1, but then with Radiance, isn't it just going to be 0 anyways? Because your nature spells cost 1 less?
But it won't. That the first one can, but every subsequent one it cannot be reduced below 1.
Okay, gotcha.
So you'll run out of. You can do it for a while, but you run out of mana.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, I never, to be honest, I played some Snip Snap, not super great with the APM stuff. I tried it enough to get my fill of it, but it's been a long time. But the other Echo cards never were really that good. And so I just didn't play him very much. So this is interesting to me. Anyways, good to get the clarification, especially when we're talking about some theory crafting, because I could see it being a little bit crazy if we could go infinite until we get the card that we want, right? So cool.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, all right. Good to talk about that. Any other decks or any cards that y'all are thinking about? I know we were talking a little bit about some Mech Mage.
Yeah.
I mean, chugga.
Exactly. I'm still really excited about Mech Mage. I haven't really necessarily seen kind of enough like impactful things that make me like want to dive in immediately, but I can't imagine we won't immediately try it too, like
Well, you have
during
to
the theory crafting one, we're gonna play it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll play it. I don't know. So far, there's nothing that's going to make this deck amazing or fast enough or whatever in Wild. But I'm gonna play it. I love that deck. I miss that deck so much. So
yeah,
I think we should give it a shot for sure.
Definitely
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah, I agree. Hey, anybody in chat have anything that they're looking forward to? Just type it in here, and we can we can mention it quickly. I'm looking through the cards here just to see if there's anything else that really catches my eye. I was thinking about, well, number one, I was thinking that there might be more Murlocs coming out for Shaman, and haven't really seen much so far. Really, only one, and it doesn't look that great. There are some interesting burn cards, though, and I know that 3E and Blue Train, I think, were talking earlier this week about, like, hey, could Odd Shaman come back? Maybe, like, after the change to the hero power, it changed the deck up quite a bit, but there's some potential. I mean, with this, give your minions spell damage +1, or this Scalding Geyser just seems gnarly. 1 mana, deal 2 damage. And dredge, and it's a fire spell. Like, could go face, could do a minion. Like, seems pretty good.
Yeah. See, while these are odd costed cards, I just don't know, since Wrath of Air Totem isn't in the pool at all. I just
You need
don't
spell.
know why we just wouldn't run like a burn shaman that's not odd.
Yeah, no,
what's
actually,
the incentive to run Baku?
well, no,
all,
yeah,
right?
you need the spell damage is really what you need. But a burn, I think you could do. I do see this bioluminescence, which gives your minion spell damage +1, but like, I mean, you need the minions to be able to do that. But there's some potential. I don't know. Again, I'm interested to try it out. Burn Shaman has been okay in the past. I mean, it's never been like top tier, but it's been okay. So I'm interested to see.
We've got the reverse King Feoris card in Druid, the one that plays minions based on the spell cost of all your spells that you've played.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
that
it
one
has
looks really cool.
It looks cool, but you'd have to sort of like, no one wants to keep a 7-drop in their mulligan, but you kind of have to have this in your hand, because it says while this is in your hand. So the spells you've played while you've been holding on to this could be some sort of late game fun.
Yeah. The downside, of course, is that you want to get up to that mana cost really soon, which means that you're playing Wild Growth, and Overgrowth and stuff like that, which means you're also populating your pool with 3 mana spells, which will then give you 3 drops, and 4 mana spells, etc. So it's not quite as, like, the payoff for it isn't quite as beneficial. I think, because in order to get there, we have to dilute our pool, which is just really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do a callback to the frequently said things. Seems like it'll be great in standard, though, because they're Overgrowth is rotating out, but they've got Guff, so.
Well, Guff is just such a crazy card. I had this happen to over this past week. I've mostly been playing Mercs because I'm already sitting in Legend and Wild and I think D5 and Standard, not really wanting to play much Standard. Been doing a lot of Mercs to try to get the level up the new characters and stuff. But had some other quests, was playing some stuff, and needed to play some standard. I played my opponent Guffs on turn 1, right? It was like a coin innervate. What is the other? Lightning Bloom, Guff, and I was like, excuse me, what? And then the next turn I did it, and I was like, well, there you go, serendipity, right? Or payback or karma or whatever you want to call it. Or the next game rather, and it was like, okay, it's it's Druid doing mana cheaty things. And so when I'm looking at Druid, actually, I'm sitting here looking at like, all right, what are our existing archetypes, and can they, will they be good, will they not? I definitely think that Aggro Druid, there's some of these cards are fantastic. And then there's the meme decks that like I want to play, not necessarily that they'll be super good, but that I want to try. And so with Kolak, the Colossal, it's a beast, and I think the butt of Kolak has Taunt, Kolak Shell. And so it makes me want to play like a Hadronox type deck or some kind of Taunt Beast, whatever type of deck, which it's very not fleshed out. But I want to try the card. But in the Druid card or the Druid decks that are good right now, and again, I think I have to give credit to Martyn Boo for these, like Cthulhu Druid, or either like Dragon Druid with the Kazakhstan, that both aquatic form works well in both of those decks as well. I mean, when you've got Guff played, like you got a bazillion mana anyways. Dredge, if you have the mana to play the card, draw it. Okay. And also,
the most Druid card I think I've ever seen in my life in Miracle Growth. Right?
This is the most Druid card that I've seen since Ultimate Infestation, where it's not as good, but it's the same, draw 3 cards, summon a plant size equal to your hand size. So it's going to be, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. Like,
and it's got Taunt.
Right?
Yeah, it's
amazing.
It seems good. It seems good. So I think in these other 2 decks as well, that this card is just going to be pretty solid. Here's the Kelp Creeper. It looks like Swamp Thing. It's so cool. So yeah, Druid doing Druid stuff. I'm really interested to see more cards. Yeah. I did think of one other thing that I saw people talking about, and frankly, I don't understand how it works, and I think I'm just missing something, so maybe y'all can explain it to me. Switcheroo, right? Priest, we're talking about Priest. The new card here is Switcheroo. Most of these Priest cards seem not that great so far. And then remind me later, I want to talk about Whirlpool, because I was confused this week, and I got it sorted out, but I think if I was confused, maybe other people were confused too. But let's talk about Switcheroo first. So Switcheroo is a 3 mana, draw 2 minions, swap their stats. And so what I saw posted was, okay, Stone Tusk Boar, 1 mana, 1/1 with charge, and the Darkness is a 4 mana, 20/20. And so it was like, okay, you draw those 2, and now Stone Tusk Boar becomes a 1 mana, 20/20 with charge. And where I was confused was that with the dormant tag, like, it doesn't always work like I thought it would work. And so while I understand the concept of like, yeah, you draw them and swap, but like dormant has messed up stuff for me before where I thought it would work and then it didn't work. Now conceptually in my mind, it's like, okay, I just draw them both and they swap, like, because it's not dormant in your hand, right? So it should just work.
So that, but also the only thing that swaps is their stats. So their mana cost doesn't swap, and then the text on the card doesn't swap.
Yeah.
And that's the big one there. So Stone Tusk Boar should retain its mana cost, 1, and should retain its text, which is charge, and not gain dormant. But the only thing that switches are the stats. So 1/1, no longer, 20/20, there it is.
Well, that seems gross. Now, I mean, the problem is when you draw your stuff before you play this, right? But
or you draw you get the reverse instead of swapping it the other way, I suppose.
What?
I mean,
I don't understand.
You would have to. I mean, this would have to be a build around, right? Like, you're not going to be able to put much in. I mean, this deck is probably going to be running like, almost nothing. Anything with any low cost minion with charge, and any I mean, well, yeah, you know what happens when you draw 2 Stone Tusk Boars and they remain 1/1s. You know, it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
but...
you could do that. So I was thinking along a prismatic lens line. No, either way you draw.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I was getting sort of how that would work confused, but yeah, if you draw those exact 2, no matter what, they're going to swap with each other. So
Exactly. Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, we'll see. I'm not sure whether it will be good or not. And again, I think this is like, yeah, we're going to try it though, for sure. So
Oh, yeah. I think that's one of those that's probably not consistent enough to, see competitive play. But I think that it's one of those that'll be like so fun. And like whenever it works and you get it to like go off, it's just going to feel so good that you're going to be really happy about it.
Right.
So I think that it'll see play even if it's not like super competitive because it's not consistent. Because in order to guarantee it, you have to only run the Darkness and Stone Tusk Boar as your minions, and only 1 copy of Stone Tusk Boar. And then you have to draw and play Switcheroo before you draw either of those.
Yeah.
So now what happens if you res it when it does? Say they kill it. Say they Shadow Word Death your 2020. Are you gonna res a 1/1 or a 2020?
1/1.
I think it would be the original 1/1.
Yeah.
The art is amazing. right.
So true.
I love it. That's funny. Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. There's some stuff. We'll see. I mean, I think it's kind of a build around. Priestess Valisage, however you pronounce it. I thought this was a joke. I thought this was a fan-made card or whatever when I first saw it. 0 mana, 1/1, Battlecry, refresh an empty mana crystal for each spell you've cast this turn. I'm not quite sure. This checks my like somebody will break the game with this card box, where I'm not quite sure who, what, where, when, why, how yet, but probably.
Machine Gun Priest?
Potentially. I mean, there's potential here. Yeah, how do you pronounce it? Valish, something like that. Anyways, there's some potential here with some miracle priest or something to, or it doesn't see play in wild almost ever, but in standard where they're running rally and then the 2 minions, one that makes spells cost less and one that generates a random spell, and then res them. You know which 2 I'm talking about? I don't know the names.
Yeah, Sethic and is it Nazmani? No. But the 3 mana 2/5.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, you just discover, reduce, discover, reduce, discover, reduce, and then it'd be like, bam, all right, well, you could get 10 mana back. I mean, a priest caps out at 10, unless they are able to get a guff somehow, but which is possible. Yeah, Sethic Veilweaver and Nazmani Bloodweaver. Thank you, Floop. So there's some stuff, I don't know how good it looks in Machine Gun Priest or something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's some potential here. Kind of curious to see how that works out. And then Whirlpool, and again, for the audio listeners, I'll just describe it. This is a 9 mana nature spell in Priest. It says, destroy all minions and all copies of them wherever they are. And when I first read this, because it didn't fully, like, if you didn't know otherwise, it's like, oh my god, does this just nuke everything? Like, all minions in all decks are just gone. And I was like, hey, this is crazy, right? I could run a control priest. I'm just going to run a death knight and a bunch of spells, or whatever it is, and have some kind of funky control build and play this and just destroy all minions everywhere. I found out that that's not how this works. And so I was confused at first, if anyone else was confused. The easiest way to explain this, as it was explained to me, was that it works like Flick in Rogue, where it's destroy all minions on the board and all copies of them wherever they are. And so both players, both decks, but it's only specifically targeting the minions that are on the board at the time.
And copies of them.
And copies of them wherever they are. And so if you've got, duplicates.
Not in the graveyard, though, right?
No, it's not going to mess up your res effects. But anything in the decks, it'll get rid of. But it has to be, so where I thought at first is like, oh yeah, my opponent hasn't played their Kazakhstan yet, or their Reno yet, or their N'Zoth
Destroy their
yet, or
deck.
whatever. Yeah, and you just, all right, boom, I've just destroyed your whole deck now. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, bring back Control Priest. But this is not how this works. Maybe that's good,
Thank
maybe
goodness.
that's bad, right? This is the one that like make you want to uninstall the game if that's how it worked, probably. But anyways, that's some interesting stuff. I saw the Priest Colossal and like I don't know what to do with it.
Do not put it in your big priest.
No.
No, I don't think so because the tail of it is bad,
yeah.
right?
It's a 1/4.
Yeah,
I believe it's a 1/4.
It is.
So, yeah.
You don't want that. So
I was excited to see what the Colossal was for Priest, because like if the second half was underwhelming but like still okay, then it seems like it may be worth it. This is not.
no.
No.
So yeah, no, I don't think so. We'll see. I'm still holding out hope for a neutral Colossal, which may or may not happen. I don't know yet. Anything else that either of you want to talk about before we kind of wrap up this portion of the show?
Did you guys see Gigafin's butt?
Yeah.
Which wait, which is Gigafin here for? For
Warlock.
Yeah, it's got a face on it. It's like we were saying last week. It's like cat dog.
Yeah.
This card is interesting, and I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. It's hard to tell because the effect is interesting. And again, it's kind of one of those that it might be a little tricky to fully understand until we've had a chance to play it. Or just getting used to the interaction. So my understanding is when it devours all enemy minions, that's when their death rattles trigger, if any. And then, its death rattle will be to spit them back out, but the Gigafin's maw, the butt of it, right, has taunt death rattle permanently destroy all minions inside Gigafin. And so, or the alternative would be like silence your own thing or whatever it would be. But like, I don't, if the death rattle triggers when he eats it, like, is that good? Is it not? I mean, it depends.
I think when they get spit back out, even if they do get spit back out, they would have the summoning sickness. So they'd technically be frozen for a turn. Right?
Yeah.
Next
So if
turn
it
they
happens
couldn't
on,
attack.
so if it happens on your turn, then whenever it's your opponent's turn, then the summoning sickness will have worn off and then they can go face with it again. Whereas if it's your opponent's turn and they kill your dude, then they still have summoning sickness and can't attack. So yeah, it should interact like that.
Yeah. Now, someone made a good point in chat though, that the nice thing about something like this is when it devours them, if there's any sort of buffs, that they would lose those. And so, especially if we're looking at any sort of priest
2020 boar.
Yeah, I mean, or like, yeah, hey, priest shenanigans with inner fire has been a big thing lately. Giant minion on board, or you have something with a bunch of Librams attached to it, or whatever else it is. When it comes back, it'll be its base form instead of the buffed form.
Yeah.
Is it good enough? I don't know. Especially if all the death rattles are going to trigger when you play this, like maybe not. So we'll see. Again, want to try it, and having it be odd cost makes me think like, hey, what the heck? Let me throw it in a odd warlock and see. Let me throw it in a odd Reno warlock and see. Maybe it's good. If nothing else, if I'm playing odd warlock with a bunch of giants and stuff, and they've got a taunt minion, like I play this just to get rid of the taunt so that I can go phase.
Yeah, even, but yeah.
Oh, what did I say? Odd.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a long week.
Yeah. So I think one thing that I kind of want to touch on before we wrap this part up is Demon Hunter. So Demon Hunter got some interesting tools that I look forward to playing around with, but I don't know. I think these are kind of more tools for Demon Hunter to put into the pool, but I don't think that we're quite there yet.
Yeah.
For wild power level in particular. So the ones that I think are powerful in a vacuum are Wayward Sage. So that's 2 mana, 2/2 Naga. With Outcast, reduced the cost of the left and rightmost cards in your hand by 1. So 2 mana, 2/2. That basically, if it's Outcast, then not only does it pay for itself, but essentially you're front loading, more stuff to do later. So in any sort of a aggro in particular, aggro demon hunter, just not odd, obviously.
Hey, you can still play it. You can play it in even demon hunter. It's cool.
Yeah, so I think Wayward Sage will be a really cool kind of thing to be part of that landscape there.
It's very good. I saw Draco Cat gushing about it earlier, and
oh yeah,
that means that it's really good. If the demon hunter expert is really excited about it, so
yeah. So the other thing that I'm really excited about for demon hunter is Lady Sateno. So she is a 3 mana 2/4 Naga that is immune while attacking, and after you cast a spell, attack the lowest health enemy. So, for us in Wild, we can play Lady Sateno, then we can Twin Slice. We can Twin Slice again, and we can Twin Slice again, and we can Twin Slice again. And if there's nothing on the board or just a whole lot of tokens, then Lady Sateno deals with their board and then starts hitting into face because it just says lowest health enemy.
Yeah.
So that can go face.
Well,
so
let me give you a yes and here, because it not only is Lady Sateno 3 cost, and Twin Slice is a card, but Multi-Strike is a card too. So give your hero +2 attack this turn. They may attack an additional enemy minion. It's like, wait a minute, what? Like, this combined with the legendary could be just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't been able to play Odd Demon Hunter in quite a while, just because the nerfs hit it too hard. I mean, I hit Legend with it way back when, but it was before all the nerfs happened. The other thing that I'd be curious about, and I really don't know, would be we still haven't heard what the new core set is going to be, and whether or not we'll see any nerf reversions. And if we do, I would surmise that some would be Demon Hunter. And so Demon Hunter potentially could get a little power spike. I don't know. I really have no clue. But maybe.
Yeah, at the very least, getting some tools for aggro, whether odd or not, gives me hope that Demon Hunter can be, not necessarily a force to be reckoned with, but a contending class and or archetype at some point in the future, because these are just more good cards that are kind of part of their repertoire. So kind of like I was saying at the beginning of this brief dive in the side in the kiddie pool here, since Demon Hunter is our youngest class.
Yeah. Can we talk about one last card though? I'm kind of curious. Yeah. I want to know, so they just released this, I think it was today, Naga Giant. So for the audio listeners, it's a 20 mana 8/8 Naga that says costs 1 less for each mana that you've spent on spells this game. And I think that this is just bad, but am I missing something?
Did you guys see what Danny Donuts posted about this?
Yes.
He said
it's just
it's
a throwback to
he wrote on Twitter that this is just a cover up, so when you Google Naga Giants on the internet, that this will come up instead of the horrible atrocity that the whole Naga Giants deck was in the past, just to cover it back up.
Do you remember?
Is it to cover it up, or is it to do an allusion to, to honor that time in Wild history, right? No, it's probably a cover up. Illuminati confirmed.
That's so funny. So I'm sitting here looking at a couple of things. Let me put this up on the screen because it's funny. So again, apologies to the audio listeners. You really probably want to watch the video version because you'll get more out of the show that way. But so here's Danny's tweet here. Yeah, Blizzard printed this card so it comes up first when you Google Naga Giants. That's really funny. And I I think OGs remember when Naga Sea Witch was like plaguing the ladder. It was just insane. And then when I look at Naga Giant, I was comparing it a little bit to Arcane Giant, which is wow, that's large on the screen. There we go. This is just a much worse Arcane Giant, right? Like at first I was excited because I was like, oh, can I just run two of these and or run both? And then I was like, actually, like this says it costs 1 less for each mana that you've spent on spells during the game versus Arcane Giant costs 1 less for each spell you've cast this game, because ideally we want to pay like zero mana for spells, right? And we don't want to pay mana for anything. And you have to with Naga Giant. Now I think it could be okay in standard to check another box off on our tropes list over there. Where big spell mage is a thing and there's a couple ways to reduce, but like we're playing some giant spells that cost mana, where in Wild, like we just don't do that. And I don't think that these two things are gonna be played together. I've been looking at some ideas for bringing back Quest Mage.
That's the only place I could think of, and even at that,
but it's still gonna cost too much, right? I think it costs too much.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Druid maybe. Yeah, it probably costs 0 in Druid.
It could cost 20 and Druid could still like play it from hand,
right? So. I love that meme. I think when Guff first came out, that was the running joke, right? I could play
Molten Giant.
Molten Giant for full cost. So anyways, so these are cards. I don't really know what to make of them. We'll have a better idea in the coming weeks. And so I if I recall correctly, the announcement about the core set was coming, I think they said April 5th, if I'm correct.
That's what I remember too.
And so we won't know by next week's show. So we'll see what happens in the meantime. On the 7th, then we'll have our Theorycraft stream, and then on the 8th, we can, I assume we'll be talking about that and how it went and what other kind of crazy shenanigans we've gotten ourselves into between now and then. Anyways, new cards are fun. Theorycrafting is fun. If anyone wants to have a deeper dive into the Theorycraft conversation, again, we've got a giveaway going on surrounding the Theorycrafts, and so you can submit your own ideas in the Discord for an entry to win that bundle there. And we've got a couple weeks to do it with, so you don't have to do it right now. We can do it later, and as we see cards, or taking one idea and then update it as new cards are released. But anyways, fun times, and I don't know, cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to just do all this stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Expansion release time is always my favorite time in general, like whether we get to engage with like extra stuff or not. That's always just like, it's basically like Christmas, because you get all these new cards, you get to get hyped about the new cards, then you want to play with them, and then you get to play with them, and you get to try, like it's the Wild West with the meta, and you get to try and figure out what could be good here. Oh, now with these new decks, what kind of counters them? And like it's just my favorite part of Hearthstone is the reveal season, and the fact that we're in that right now, and we get to talk about and theorize and see what could be played, and get the spicy hot takes, and see, is N'Zoth ever going to be able to be played again, or is it just always going to be too slow? Things like that. New Zoth with Naga, right? Like, is that possible? Like right now in expansion reveal season, like it's basically Schrodinger's Schrodinger's deck. Like,
I love it.
It is a deck and it isn't a deck until you open the box. So it's always exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that concludes the bulk of this conversation. We're at almost 2 hours, and so I think we should wrap it up. I'd love to talk about the bingo card that we made, and if anyone wants to chat about it, we'll do it after the show proper. If anyone still wants to hang out. But let's wrap things up a little bit here and jump into our weekly challenge. Now, this is So Hydra was not here last week, and so our weekly challenge we had made actually was in Hydra's honor. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I know we have some new faces in the audience today, and I really appreciate you being here. Here's what we do each week. Every week we've got a weekly challenge. It's typically to do something crazy or make the biggest this or get lethal with that or whatever it was. I don't know, maybe it was maybe we didn't do a good job promoting it. Maybe everyone got busy. I don't know what happened, but we didn't get any entries for our last week's challenge.
I submitted one.
You don't count. No offense. No offense.
I'm a sheep. I count every night. That's how I go to sleep.
No,
You have to count yourself.
We can't do that.
Oh dear. Yeah. Couldn't help myself. So yeah, Noda, you did. I have to give you credit for that. So last week's challenge was in honor of Hydra to, typical Hydra has 3 heads, right? Not a Hydralisk, but the Hydra, 3 heads. And so the challenge was to get 3 exact copies of a minion on the board, exacties. And so it has to look the same and have the same stats. That have to be the same. Like one can't be gold and the other 2 normal. They all have to be the same. The super easy solution is Desert Hare, right? Because it just summons 3/1/1 Desert Hares.
That's what I did.
That is what Sheep did. The other one that I think Floop or somebody else had said, but then nobody submitted was the new Trog, because it creates a copy of itself, and so you play a Trog and your opponent.
Doppelgangster doesn't work, does it?
No, Doppelgangster does not work.
Because the art's different.
Yeah. So Trog makes a bunch of 1/2 Trogs if your opponent plays spells. That being said, we need exactly 3 too. It's not not 2, not 4, like exactly 3. And so anyways, I'm fine rerunning it another week if we want to do that, or we can do a new one. I don't really care.
Yeah, I think that we should give this one, if we don't get any additional ones this time, 3rd time's a charm, because it's the Hydra challenge. So 3 times we have to give it 3 opportunities. This is not an Eminem song.
That's
you get
great.
More than one shot, you get more than one opportunity.
So exact 3, same art, same either golden or non-gold. It has to be the same no matter what. They can be buffed for more stats for the win, but completely identical.
It has to be the same buff then, though. And so, yeah. Then thou shalt count to 3, no more, no less. 3 shall be the number thou shalt count, and the number of the counting shall be 3. 4 shalt thou not count, neither count thou 2, excepting that thou then proceed to 3. 5 is right out. That's so good. Oh my god.
Monty Python, perfect reference. Love it.
It is
much appreciated.
That was good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yes, exacties. Doppelgangster does not work because the art is different. So it has to be samesies, and you can't have like Monty Python over here. We cannot have 4 or 2. And they have to be exact stats. And so there are some ways,
There's like molten reflection stuff, right? That's a card, right?
There is, and faceless manipulator, and cube exists, and there's ways. There's some ways.
If you play Doppelgangster earlier and then play Shudderwalk later,
you could. Oh.
I mean, you can do stuff, right? So Muster for Battle is a card, but so here's the other piece of this, which we should mention, is that when we get multiple entries, then Tiebreaker always defaults to stats, and so you play Muster for Battle, you've got 3 1/1s that are identical, okay, but can anybody play 3 2/2s or 3 3/3s or something bigger than that? And so the where these really get fun is when people build on, each other's and just, consistently one up each other, and that's what's been a blast. I think one of my favorite ones was like, how much attack can you get as Demon Hunter or whatever, and we see people come through with like in the hundreds, and it's like, oh my god, this is crazier than I thought it was going to be. Or getting, what is it? Someone got 30,000 armor or 3 million armor sometime or whatever crazy things.
It was absurd.
I mean,
best possible way.
Yeah, so that's the goal. Anyways,
Yeah.
Hydra,
So
can you tell folks how to participate, or carry on what you were going to say?
That's exactly what I was going to say, Nate. You're reading my mind. If you guys would like to participate and you want to earn 2 packs on us, we do this every week. If you want a couple packs to, boost that collection, you could even save them for the upcoming expansion. If you win this, we can not even gift them to you right away. You can save them for then if you want them, or you can get whatever you want. But if you would like to participate, post a screenshot of your 3 exacties in our weekly challenges channel in our Discord. And the winner, obviously, like Nate said, is going to be the ones with the biggest stats. And we will announce it on next week's show. And like I said, you will receive your 2 packs and you'll be immortalized in the Hall of Fame on the Born to Be Wild website. So we look forward to seeing all these things. It's super fun to see who can, just beat the last person, and it slowly scales up. Or you can just, wait till the last minute and blow everyone out of the water with your 370/70s or whatever you would like to do. But yeah, looking really forward to seeing what you guys are going to submit. And yes, also actually another thing that I should say before you guys do this and submit these, I don't want to see you doing this against the innkeeper or against a friend, because that's kind of cheating. Or and like your friend's gonna let you, build the biggest minion. The innkeeper is probably not gonna remove it because it won't have the card to do it. So the solo content stuff is out, and so is versing a friend. So you have to do this either on the ladder or in casual. If you don't want to tank your rank, don't worry about trying to do this on the ladder. You can just do this in casual and confuse your opponent as to why you're doing this weird task. But that's probably the place that you would like to do this.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm excited. Yes, and again, if you need the link to our Discord, for those of you watching live, we've posted it here in chat. For those of you watching this later on YouTube or listening to the audio version, the easiest way to find it is just going to our website, borntobewildhs.com. Down at the very, very bottom of the screen, there's all of our contact info, and so it's got it's got links to the Discord, it's got the YouTube, it's got all of the stuff, and so we'd love to have you join us and play along. Super fun. All right, friends. Well, hey, that wraps up this week's show. Thank you all so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. It was such an exciting show, a big milestone for us to hit episode 100, to be invited to a big wild Theorycraft streaming event, and hopefully y'all can join us for that in a couple of weeks. And just to get a chance to hang out with everybody here is super fun, super exciting. And so thanks again, everybody, and we will see y'all next week for another episode of
That
Born to
was
Be Wild.
episode 100.
100!
That's incredible.
Wow. Really? Wow.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's exactly how it needs to end at that point. Right there.